How many nuclear missiles can America stop? A deadly missile is the fastest to fly to the territory of the United States, the most powerful country in the world. In the midst of rising tensions, the use of nuclear missiles may be the last resort. But is America ready for such a disaster? How many nuclear missiles can they stop before the unexpected tragedy happens? Let's talk about it. Well, that's how fast missiles are. Unpredictable. And in the blink of an eye, everyone will be gone. This scenario is a challenge for countries. A battle where every second is a life. Threatening one. How can a country face a threat that is almost impossible to stop? We all know how strong the United States is and how prepared they are for the battles. In fact, the United States has the largest military budget in the world and advanced defense technology. They have various missile defense systems. However, the construction of missile defense is very complicated. First of all, it is difficult to see. Launch of the Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, ICBM. If a missile is launched, it may reach 30 seconds before it is detected by early warning satellites. These satellites use infrared sensors to see the heat from the missile's exhaust plume as it ascends. But if it is cloudy or the weather conditions are different, it is more difficult to. The detection window in the boost phase is very small, so it is important to have many satellites for continuous monitoring. Once the missile is detected, it is necessary to check if this is a hostile launch or just a test launch. This is difficult because a misinterpretation may result in an unexpected war or battle. For example, test launches such as the U.S. Minuteman III missiles are regularly conducted to test and improve their defense systems. However, it is necessary to let other countries. If it is confirmed that the missile is a hostile launch, it will try to stop it. The ICBM's flight is divided into 3 chapters. Imagine, suddenly there is an attack from a country. A missile ascends. This is the boost phase of the ICBM, the first phase of its flight. At this point, the missile's rocket engines release a very strong thrust to push it from the launch site. It's like a huge firework with a long and bright beam of heat from its exhaust plume. Is it easy to see? Yes, because the missile is big, its movement is slower than other UFOs in flight, and the heat signature from the heat released by the engines is visible. That's why infrared sensors are used in satellites to detect it immediately. But wait, this is also where time is running out. The boost phase is very short, about 3 to 4 minutes, or more or less 180 to 250 seconds. At this time, the missile must be detected. Immediately send the information to the command center. Decide if this is a threat, and start the interception. At the speed of all events, you may have less than 150 seconds to send an interceptor missile, and it's just the beginning of everything. Where is the interceptor? While the missile is ascending, it's usually inside the territory of the country where it was launched. The interceptor systems of other countries are positioned near the target areas like cities or military bases, and it's not near the launch site of the enemy. That's why it can theoretically be stopped while in the boost phase. It's so hard to do in reality. A missile is in the sky at a speed of almost 24,000 kilometers per hour. It can travel from New York to Los Angeles in just 10 minutes. But before it can reach the target, there's a new battle going on above. A high-tech game of hiding between real warheads and pecking targets. After the boost phase, the missile will enter the mid-course phase where the U.S. has 20 minutes to try to stop it. In theory, that's a lot of time. But the truth is, it's like trying to hit a bullet with another bullet. The speed and number of possible targets every second is important. This is where the U.S. ground-based mid-course defense or GMD system enters, which uses 44 interceptor missiles positioned in Alaska and California. When the interceptor is activated, it will fly upwards to hit the ICBM in the middle of the range. The goal is to hit the real warhead and avoid the pecking targets it releases to confuse the radar. But even though the value of each interceptor missile almost $75 million each, its success rate is 50-50. In the tests, only 56% succeeded in neutralizing the target. Another challenge is the decoys. Like this, the missile releases 50 objects in the range, but only 10 are the real warheads. The others are pecking targets designed to confuse the radar. The GMD system's job is to find out which is the real one and hit it, while avoiding the pecking targets. The U.S. uses the most modern radar systems to analyze the orientation of each object, how it moves, its shape, and other details. But no matter how advanced their technology is, it is very difficult to do it accurately. Therefore, how many missiles can the U.S. stop? At present, the U.S. missile defense system has limitations. While it can face several ICBMs, it can't answer all of them, especially if there are multiple missiles or decoys launched at the same time. One missile is now falling from the sky. It is even faster than the wind. It reaches Mach 24, or almost 27,000 km per hour, for this meteor that you can't stop easily. When it reaches the terminal phase, this is the last chance for the U.S. to save their targets. But can it do it? At the speed of the warhead, there is no time to react. Defense systems like the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense or them Patriot missiles are better than short and medium-range missiles. But when it comes to powerful ICBMs, they are very difficult to catch. ICBMs are like falling rocks that have pecking targets or decoys to confuse the radar. This is the reason why the U.S. is building a multi-layered defense system in every phase of the flight. From the terminal phase, there are interceptors, radar, and satellites that help. But no matter how advanced the technology is, it is not perfect. In ground-based interceptor or GND tests, only half of them are successful. For example, if a country launches 10 missiles, and each missile has 10 warheads, there will be 100 warheads in total. In the current 44 interceptors of the U.S., even if they use all of them, they cannot stop all of them. In the ideal scenario, they can neutralize the remaining 20 to 30 warheads depending on their success rate. So the question is this system enough for simultaneous attacks? For now, not yet. The answer is continuous research, like the next generation interceptor, or NGI, which is expected to be more effective in 2027 to 2028. In the question of how many missiles the U.S. can stop, it is limited. In the current 44 interceptors of the ground-based mid-course defense or GND system, and an estimated success rate of 56%, less than 10 warheads can be stopped by a large attack. This is due to technical limitations, low reliability, and the possibility of simultaneous use of enemy. Of course, the U.S. is not only, they also have a deterrent strategy. In other words, they are showing a country that if they launch a nuclear attack, the U.S. can counter it with a larger attack. For example, if a country is planning to launch a nuclear missile against the United States, before they even press the launch button, there is a huge chance of success. Why? Because even if they attack everything, that the U.S. has the ability to counter a larger attack. A guaranteed mutual assured destruction, or MAD. MAD is not only about defense using missile interceptors. It is based on the ability of the V used to counter a larger attack, even if they are hit first. The backbone of this strategy is the nuclear triad: missiles on the ground, submarines hiding under the sea, and strategic bombers that are always ready to fly. The concept of MAD is simple but scary. If you attack, everyone will surely be destroyed. So if a missile falls from a distance, full of force that can destroy a city, in an instant, how can it be stopped? For the U.S., they have advanced missile defense systems, but these have limitations and not guaranteed safety for everyone. That's why many experts believe that the real solution cannot be found in radar, interceptors, or new technology, but in diplomacy. Why? Because in a full-scale nuclear war, no matter how good the missile defense is, all missiles can stop it. The real battle is to avoid the outbreak of war before it even starts. While the U.S. continues to strengthen their defense, their best weapons are in negotiations, agreements, and lowering tensions between countries. Because no matter how advanced the technology is, the only guaranteed way to avoid destruction is to never reach the point where these must be used. In the Philippines, can we intercept nuclear missiles?